Hello, this is Mr. Mescher, and I would like to read and analyze the poem Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep by Mary Elizabeth Frye. And before we start, I have some information about Mary Elizabeth Frye, the poet. She was born in 1905 and died in 1904. She was born in Dayton, Ohio, which is not far from where I'm from. I am from Sydney, Ohio, and Dayton is only about 45 minutes away, so I was excited to see a little bit of Ohio pride going on there. It was exciting to know that this beautiful poem came from someone who was born not too far from where I grew up. Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep was originally composed on a brown paper shopping bag, and it was reportedly inspired by a story of a young Jewish girl who had been staying with her family had been unable to visit her dying mother in Germany. The poem was written in 1932, so there was lots of tension going on in Germany and traveling within Germany, and the poem was allegedly inspired by that. Because people liked her 12-line untitled verse, she made a lot of copies and she just circulated them privately. She never published the poem herself. The poem wasn't published until much later after she wrote it in 1932, and this was simply something that she had written with no intention of being published, so it kind of adds to the beauty of it all because she wrote this purely to enjoy. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. When we read this poem, I get a very spiritual feeling from this poem. Not necessarily a religious feeling, but I definitely get a strong spiritual feeling, which for some of you may be a religious feeling, or some of you maybe you just get a spiritual feeling. The poem is really almost a celebration of the character's life. The first few lines we see, I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. This really gives us a feeling of living. These are moving actions. These are verbs. 1,000 winds that blow. The diamond glinting. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. When you read this, I certainly hope you feel a bit of movement from the words of the poem. I hope that it creates an image of movement in your head, because certainly for me, reading it gives me a sense of being alive. As we go through the poem a little later, when you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. Now you notice that the poem speaks about quiet birds in circled flight, but the juxtaposition of morning's hush and uplifting rush, when I think of an uplifting rush, it involves some kind of noise. So to see awaken in the morning's hush, a swift uplifting rush, and then quiet birds in circled flight really makes me think about the character in the poem isn't able to physically make noise on the earth, but it's more of the soul in the feeling of that person living on. Then we get to the last line of the poem, where they say, "Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die." When I read this poem, it gives me a look into how does our legacy live on? How do we continue to live even after our physical body has passed away? And as you see in these memories, this was a good person. This was a person who inspired ideas like the sunlight on ripened grain and I am the swift uplifting rush. How do we get remembered when we passed away? I think this poem really explores that. What do you think about it?